district is taking a huge risk with this, because Dennis, one of the things that is kind of gray in here is that you state that the second tournament is not sponsored by D.F.Softball, yet your contract requires that you can't contract out that facility to anybody else without the board approval. And so I'm concerned that it's not going to be even under Dennis's purview, which I think, and plus the fact I just heard, well, I can't control alcohol, that raises my antenna considerably. So whatever you want the board chooses to do, if you don't want to do it for the first tournament, I understand it, but for the second one, I'd want a substantial cash bond of at least of $1,000 cash, check for $1,000, and with the understanding that if our security firm gets called out, we are not going to incur those costs. I'm not comfortable with the alcohol, to be honest with you. I'm not comfortable with that at all. Because you're not controlling it.
We control it as best as we can. Okay, I'm not going to.
That doesn't make me feel comfortable, Dennis.
I know, but I'm not going to lie to you. Say, you know, if this is a church event and there's no alcohol. I mean, most of you know softball. The people who play slow pitch softball are going to be what they are.
I'll disagree with you. I ran ASA softball tournaments for almost 20 years. I was an umpire for 18 years. And I will tell you that any softball tournament that I had, there was a strict no alcohol policy. No alcohol was permitted. And if we caught any team or any player with alcohol, they were booted out and it was done with. That got the message out there. I can't remember having problems. I'm not going to say, like Dennis says, that somebody's not going to sneak a beer in a parking lot or something. But if you go in with the attitude that, well, it may happen, it probably will happen, I'm not sure what I can do about it, then you're going to have a problem. I would rather go into it and say, look, we need to make sure that group knows it's not permitted. And if it happens, we could pull the plug at any time.
That was actually going to be my question, because you said, you know, we do, but we know there's going to be there. But if it is there, what do you do about it? If you do find someone with alcohol? I mean, if you just like, oh, you just kind of look the other way, or you say, dump it, or you're done. I mean, that was going to kind of be my question.
We patrol it, and we can't do anything until it comes out.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's what happens with that. There, we have people at the gate. We're going through bags. We're doing all of those things, but it still comes in when we find cans in the garbage cans, when we find them in the restrooms,
right.
You know, and things like that. It's just they go around the outside and they're tossing bags over the fence. Those type of things happen.
And I get that, but Larry brings up a good point. It's like, okay, so if you do find someone that's part of a team that has it, do you boot the team? I guess that's just a straight question.
Yeah, is there a consequence?
Zero tolerance type.
I mean, is that team going to be done if someone gets caught on that team with alcohol?
We have not kicked out a team.
That's kind of what we're asking.
Okay, we have not. I think so. And so, you know, we take care of it right then and there,
right.
and we just keep going.
So let me just expand on that just a little bit further, Dennis. It's the concern I have is if this was I still would have the same concern, but it's heightened because you're playing all night long, right. People drinking all night long, and we have people with bats. We know that adult softball games can occasionally, something happens, you got issues. One way the board may consider to deal with the situation is that we notify Paladin, our security company, and we actually pay, which would then we have to transfer the cost over to the softball organization, to have security out there the entire event. Right. At least, minimally, at least from 6 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning, and that we give them the authority that if they see alcohol, they can stop the program.
I am open to facilitating whatever the board wants to do with this.
Okay. Well, what it does, Dennis, it actually helps you because it takes you out of the decision.
I agree.
Because if you warn your teams up front that this is, you tell them exactly what's going to happen. We're going to have security on there. If they see alcohol, the consequences is your team forfeits, you're out of the tournament, and it's done with. And that does cause the problems with your tournament. I understand that, but we only have $1 million liability insurance here. And if somebody gets hit with a baseball bat or something happens, the first $1 million is on Dennis. Every dime after that's on us. So we have to be very careful with that.
Who's umpiring during the Midnight Man? The adult? Who are the umpires?
They are part of the all-world adult umpire group. They're not my fast pitch group.
Okay.
They're not my fast pitch group. Some of my fast pitch people also do slow pitch. The umpires are independent contractors, so some of them do different things. They do slow pitch and fast pitch. I came here and I informed the All World people that run this event. They're part of me with All World, but they run the adult division. I've informed them that, I was coming to the board tonight, and I said, whatever the board stipulates is gonna be the requirement. You decide whether you're gonna run the event or not under these stipulations. Okay, that's what I put to them. So it's not an approval thing at this point that they're gonna, they're gonna have to look at this.
When we're done, we'll lay out what we're
Yes.
gonna, require, and if they say no, we're
Yeah,
fine.
and exactly. And I'm more than willing to.
I'm pretty simple, because I played in these things, and I've been to Winnemucca, and I've played in them, and I've been on the sober side, but a lot of people drink, and that's true. But I would just as soon have All World know that Freedom's a dry park,
Pardon?
that Freedom Park is dry, no alcohol, and that you go back to the complex and party in the parking lot all night long with your trailers, away from the residential facilities by the golf course, where you can't hurt any residents of the community, nobody lives out there, and it's patrolled by the city and the sheriffs right out there all night long. So that would keep them from even being tempted to drink and drive down Watt Avenue, to bring alcohol up and down Watt, back down to Longview, to make that corridor dry. And you can do that by saying, hey, you guys can have your alcohol at the complex, but you can't have it at Freedom, and it's that simple. And if you drink and you get caught with it, you're a team member, your team's out. That's all there is to it. We ID you and you're on a roster, you guys are out of the tournament.
And again, whatever the board stipulation is and requirement is what I'm gonna present to them. And
It's pretty
so
simple, just don't
I
drink.
have no problem with that at all.
Okay.
We don't need drinking in the residence late at night.
But
Do we want to wrap up one or no?
Let's get back to the girls first, and then we'll go back to the adult one. So does anyone have any issues with the girls' weekend? Comments, questions for Dennis?
My only concern, I think, as Larry brought up, is the supervision of the camping and the outside. That would be my biggest.
We have people patrolling that area. We bring in extra portables out there in the back. We actually have another dumpster in the back. The people, their families camping out there. I mean, it would be like any of us going out to the lake or whatever, and they're camping back there. And most of them, 99.9% of them actually help clean up in the end. I mean, again, we're talking about family camping is what we have. We do have people riding around the carts all night long, but it's pretty dark quiet out there at night. I mean, it is like a campground. It's quiet. They're not partying all night long out there in the outside area. We've never had a challenge, and I think if McClellan Park found that to be true, they would say, oh no, heck no, we're not going to do this again.
So
But
they've already approved it?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Verbally or in writing?
They're drawing a contract up now, but I get a contract with them with that, and in fact, the weeds are about this high, so they're scheduling to actually knock down the weeds and everything for us in that thing. So I can get you Jeanette Simple's contact info, but that's who I work with, and she sees no problem with any of that right now. Again, if they had a problem with it, they would not be entering this contract at all.
So anyone else have any questions?
On the girls, just provide the contract, provide the contact numbers,
Okay.
tournament directors, all the information would be required. I know that the parents with girls don't let them get out of sight.
No,
That's
no,
one
it's
thing about
very well
soccer.
supervised, you know.
Parents really keep a close eye on their daughters, and they know this kind of
Yeah.
thing. So we need to help
And
them
that's
too.
why,
They don't sneak off.
that's why we encourage the tent camping inside the park, behind the homeroom fence, because they're all in there.
Yeah.
And they're all in there, and they stay up all night long watching it get done. And it's really, really as busy sometimes during the evening, because they're all out, and having fun during that first night. So it's really, really a fun event. It really is.
Okay, so now let me go back to my fellow board members. So for the adult event, so right now on the table, which we're just, so you don't have to add to this, we're gonna ask for a cash bond. We're going to, anything that we get Paladin, we get called out extra on, and we're gonna request that Paladin have what, 2? Larry, would you think would be Paladin all night? Like 8 in the evening, 6 in the morning, or?
I would say that we should talk to Paladin and see how
Get an estimate.
how they structure and get a cost
Okay.
estimate.
Yeah,
for
get a
it.
cost estimate for me
Okay.
on that there. We
Right.
have till October, I mean,
Right,
obviously.
and I understand that, right.
But come up with that part of it. And
Okay.
so, yeah, and I'll just present this, say, these
Yeah, that's
are hard
fine.
costs.
Anyone else have any?
The zero alcohol tolerance.
Right, well, yeah, I'm sorry, that was the other one, yeah. So 0 alcohol. Anything else?
Zero drugs also.
So-
I don't know how many events I've been to, and I can smell marijuana
Well,
being
that's just
smoked
everywhere, yeah.
all.
Well, you work at the sheriff's department. Now, do we want, since we don't have Paladin's costs and everything, do we want to table this? We've kind of given direction on the way we want to go. Do we want to go back and just let staff deal with this under what we're coming up with, or come back next month and we can do a final approval?
I say a final on the October, but the girls needs to go now because.
Oh, that's true, yeah, you're right, I'm talking about that. Okay, so for the girls' weekend, do we want to just go ahead and approve that with the, if Paladin does get called out for that, you're on the hook for that, do you want a cash bond for that one too?
I don't think we need a cash bond for the girls, but certainly for the men's tournament.
Okay, so the only stipulation, we're asking for a copy of the contract that you have with McClellan, and then if we get a call out Paladin, you're on the hook for that. Are we right on that? Do you want to make a motion for that at this point, to get that off the table?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Third.
Okay, we have a bunch of people involved there. So, motion a second. Is there any other discussion about the girls' weekend? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll just work with Larry to get a
That's
written
fine.
document that we can both
That's
execute
fine.
on that.
On the adult weekend, staff knows what we're asking for, I think now. You have an idea, staff can get the Paladin cost for you, and after we have all this worked out, then we'll come back next month and we'll put it in.
That's
all
fine.
business
And then
and go.
we address that, and
Right,
that's the
and-
document.
And
on
you can pass along, it hopefully before the meeting, to say, this is what it's gonna be, no alcohol, this cost. I don't know if you're putting the cash bond up, or you're gonna make them do that, or, that's fine. I mean, as long as they know, because.
You'll
they may-
have the money. You'll have
They
the
may
money.
come back and say, yeah, we don't wanna do all this, and so this is the
And,
point for all.
and that is, it could be, it
Yeah,
could be.
yeah, I know, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay, anything else for Dennis? All right, thank you for coming tonight.
All right, thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to item 11, payment of the bills. Does anyone have any questions or clarification on the bills? Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
is this chlorine for like 5 years we're buying, or what? $4,800, I mean, I have no idea how much. how long
That was for pretty much the month of June.
Okay.
First part of June up until June 30th.
That much chlorine?
When it's
We're
hotter,
burning.
I know you're burning.
Oh, that's right, with all,
Pounds
with all
every
that
other day.
water going in. Yeah, that
with
makes
the
sense.
water.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Well,
sense.
you're losing all the water because the
Yeah.
chlorine's
Well,
washing
there's
it out.
two things going on. We're losing the water, but we're also, if you've seen the Ratty pool covers, they provide no protection and in excess evaporation. But we don't want to invest $10,000 in pool covers in a pool that may not exist. So we're having to bear through it this year.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? If there's none, can I have a motion to ratify payment of bills?
so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention? Keep moving the stuff. All right, so the next meeting is Thursday,